The idea of the European Union is based on an alliance of equal states in solidarity, hence the principle of unanimity in the most important matters, which guarantees a proper treatment of each state that is in the community. Now the politicians of all the currently ruling parties in our country wish to abolish this principle.
Nadal funkcjonuje mechanizm destrukcyjny.
There is still a destructive mechanism in operation, a mechanism that is tearing apart and weakening the European Union from the inside, which we know from the pages of Polish history. I am, of course, talking about the veto principle. This liberum veto of Poland today functions at the European level as a principle of unanimity and must, for the good of the European Union, for the survival of this project, be abolished.
I dlatego myślę, że szczególnie Polacy.
Therefore, I think that Poles in particular should always remember how the abuse of the liberum veto ended for us. And when I see pictures today, when the government of Hungary and Prime Minister Orban abused the veto to stop European Union aid to Ukraine fighting Russia, I am actually, differently, reminded of those pictures. Except that the Germans or the French wanted to abolish the principle of unanimity long before the outbreak of the war in Ukraine. The goal?
Będą miały w takiej sytuacji lepsze możliwości, żeby
They will have better opportunities in such a situation to push their interests in the European Union, because from the point of view of the two largest countries, with the assembly of an adequate majority is relatively easy. On the other hand, for smaller countries in such a situation, it will be much more difficult to protect strategic interests. The dangerous reform of the European Union, from Poland's point of view, is not going to be blocked by the government in Warsaw.
Polska będzie wspierać
Poland will support a realistic reform of the European Union that will make it more competitive and powerful. The most controversial part of the possible reform will be the natural departure from unanimity in some areas and the proposed change in the voting system.
My temu się przeciwstawiamy, mamy swoje miejsce.
We oppose this. We have our place in Europe. We want the state to be in Europe, to be in the European Union, but we will not allow a situation in which we are simply pushed around by larger groups of countries. We will fight for our own, fight for a European community of solidarity and equal states.
Europejską solidarnych i równych państw i narodów.
Because that's also what the June European Union parliamentary elections are about. Will the European Union turn into a superstate run mainly by Berlin, or will it be a union of equal sovereign states, as conceived by the founding fathers?
te wybory do Parlamentu Europejskiego mają bardzo duże znaczenie.
The elections to the European Parliament are very important, and the representation of Conservatives increases. It will make a political difference, and in practice this representation of the opponents of the superstate will have a stronger voice. And this could determine the future of the European Union and the sovereignty of member states, such as Poland. Adrian Borecki, TV Republica.